we were asked a question by some Christian vegan, mostly the children, and they wanted to know why the Bible doesn't talk more about the nativity animals and why the animals are around the nativity scenes that we see today. Well, part of that has to do with political reasons or trying to embellish something. And if we look at the understanding that Jesus was born in a stable or where the animals were kept in those days, the ground level of a lot of the dwellings, particularly in the countryside, had the animals living in the basement, and the people lived above them in the first or second floor above the basement. And the animals would stay in the basement, and they would be right above, and then the animals would come out whenever it was safe. And so what we're looking at is this inn may have had the animals in the basement. And if Jesus was born in that stable, in that area, the animals were still there. And the manger is a feeding trough. And so they laid Jesus in the feeding trough of the animals, which would have attracted them even more. And what we have to understand is why they didn't talk about the animals is because human beings were writing the Bible. They took it from inspired text, but over the years, the political and traditional ways of people began to enter into the understanding. So when they rewrote it, from scribes, it would be read and written. People left out the parts because if they ate animals, they would have to admit that because of their hardness of heart, they killed and ate some of the animals. So don't mention them or don't say anything about them. And other people said, well, there were animals there because it was a stable, so they put them out on the nativity scenes and different things like this. And some of them use live animals, which I don't think is right either. But it talks about things that maybe didn't exist at that time or that didn't react the same way. But the people that ate meat against the heavenly will of God had that understanding to some extent. And God doesn't want us to have a hardened heart and not to see the loving nature of animals is a hardness of heart. And if we love the Lord and love his whole creation, we'll love all the animals. And that's why I believe you asked the question, why doesn't it say more about the animals? Because people don't want to admit their hardness of heart in killing and eating animals. I hope that answers your question. Amen.